Welcome to Mixed Reviews. I am Leah Remembering, and this is Rysolver. This is our first show, our first Mixed Reviews. We have been engaged in a TV investigation that's been going on for some amount of time. So now it's time for us to share our results of this investigation with you, our loyal viewers.
The government tried and failed, apparently.
Tried and failed, and they tried and failed. We will not be stopped.
Ever.
So, on to our show. Today we will be reviewing
The Secret Moonshiners of Skinwalker Ranch.
Their first episode, as well as our first episode.
1-to-1.
So, what we've done here, let's introduce you to the set. This is Skinwalker Ranch. We have gone to painstaking lengths, there we go, to replicate this as near accurately as we could. So let me familiarize you with we have our command center down here. Down there is where our command center is. We have what is known as Homestead 1.
The command center is where the central guard cuts his sick tracks with his drum machine.
They have a lot of their security assets.
Pretty important.
Located at the command center.
Right.
And then here we have the triangle. You can tell
the triangle.
that it is the triangle. That one was obvious. I thought,
Not this episode, but it comes into play later.
It comes into play, the triangle. It's a very important place. We have the mesa.
The mesa.
This is the point of the mesa. But that is the mesa.
And this is the road around the mesa.
Leading to the mesa. After you pass the triangle and the mesa, you get to Homestead 2.
Yes.
Where
unoccupied currently. It is, I believe it is for rent, though.
It is in not great condition, but Brandon Frug would be your landlord, and
he likes to keep things original.
But he is frugal.
Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is
Oh my goodness, hold on.
Oh, okay.
I forgot the cow.
We're missing a cow.
I got the cow! I'm getting the cow! Got the cow! I'm back. I got the cow. I forgot. Okay. Our opening scene.
Everyone is running across the field to a cow that has died. It was
Travis. Travis was there.
Travis is there.
Was Tickle there?
I think Tim was there.
Tim
was there. Yes.
T and Dragon.
Dragon was there.
Dragon was there. The horror, the ferocity. Tickle.
We already have
Tim. We already have Dragon. Eric, he was there.
He stayed far away.
Was Jim there, or the other PhD?
The other PhD
was there, and
seeing Tom. Where's Tom?
Tom. Where did you go, Tom?
Well, he just vanished.
Well, I'm full of Tims. Really don't have a Tom? Tom! Thank God.
We're going to be Tomless.
I thought we were too. Tom is without his cowboy hat, his signature cowboy hat, but at least we have a Tom.
Okay, he is represented.
I hate to misrepresent him. I believe he did have his hat in this scene.
He did have his hat.
So I acknowledge the inaccuracy here. It's okay. We can get through this, guys. We can get through this. So, they're all there looking at the dead cow. We have instrumentations. They had a Geiger counter.
Right, they have a Geiger counter. It's making it.
And then they also had a tricorder. So, they were counting Geigers.
So we were
It was like, who was it counting Geigers? It was Travis, and it was Eric. With their instrumentations.
Yeah.
One of them was counting Geigers, while the other one was tri-fields.
Tricords.
They were triangulating the fields.
Yeah. Okay, so what they found.
18 Geigers to a tri-field. Is that 6?
I'm not sure what the conversion ratio is, but I think
I don't know.
I think it's 3. And they kept. Yeah. So they decided.
Now, quick cut. So that was just the opening tickle, right?
Yes.
Without tickle.
With no tickle.
But then we have a quick cut.
Okay, so
let's we're leaving. We're leaving the ranch. I really apologize, guys. We didn't have the budget to recreate the boardroom. We do have limited means, but so for now, we're just going to this information.
There's no command center here.
And I need this. We're gonna pretend that this circle that I'm drawing. You see that, guys? Do you see that circle? That represents the table in the boardroom in Salt Lake.
Right.
Okay, now you know that. Don't. Okay, so the first person we see.
Person one.
It's person one of interest. I don't know why she's of interest. Apparently she's of interest. He opens the door to the boardroom, and Tom sits down.
He never likes to stay in one place.
Tom sits down with Dragon. Tim follows in behind and sits by Dragon. And then Eric comes in. Eric's over there. The other PhD sits over here. Kind of. We put Baby in the corner. And then Brandon or Travis.
Travis, yes.
Travis doesn't want to sit with him.
No, he doesn't. He wants to sit. He's pretending he's objective.
Tickle was late, but Tickle made it finally. Goose's whole and Tickle and Tickle and Tim sit together. Tickle's real upset that his TNT has been interrupted sometimes to have this TNT. He doesn't like to cross the streams. So he sits next to Tim. Tickle was quite late. Quite surprising that, but finally Mr. Frugal enters the room.
Yes.
And as soon as Frugal enters the room, person one flees. I don't know what that's about. I'm not saying that inappropriate things.
That's not why we're here.
That's not why we're here. So now we've got these men sitting around. Oh wait, I think Sheriff Caleb was there too.
Yeah. It was just hard to.
He didn't look like he didn't have his gun. So you'll just have to imagine doesn't have his gun.
Yes.
And what did they discuss, hon?
So what they do is they start. All right, so we started, or not folklore so much as history of Navajo. Somehow makes Skinwalker Ranch what it is. They show meteorites flying over the ranch.
Lights.
And
they show some lights.
They show some lights shining on the mesa.
Travis.
Yes.
And so Brandon reading the room. As he does so well. He reads the room and he sees that he's losing. And so, you know what, fellas? You don't have to take my word for it. You can see it for yourself. So he arranges, I'll be right back. You can hear me, right?
Yes.
So he arranges for a cop for his with his brother for the next day. And if you'll just bear with me one moment, I gotta get my helicopter. Just arrived. I'm so excited to use it for the first time.
We purchased.
So, before the helicopter ride, I get ahead of myself. I digress. No, I must.
Okay, so we cut a car scene. We are in. Tim is driving his farm truck, and Mr. Frugal has taken the shotgun seat, and Travis Taylor is in the middle of them, and he is driving them to the earth.
And now, once again, you'll have to excuse our misrepresentation. This is a misrepresentation of the car of the farm truck but they all pile in. Let's get rid of Tickle leaves.
They all stay in the boardroom. Okay. And we're just left with three.
These three are
in this order. They are in.
And he's driving them to the location of their rented helicopter.
Yes.
And so Brandon says, "Is this where he leaves them?"
Yeah.
And isn't this where Brandon says something rather notable?
Oh, I don't know if he's talking to says, if you love your country, you're going to have to love.
And it was really an odd thing to say. We think it maybe foreshadows. We don't know. But these two then get into the helicopter with Brandon's brother, who looks a lot like Brandon. But just this is brother.
Yeah.
And they pile into the helicopter. Get closer. Brandon's brother starts feeling really EBGB-ish, and so he says a little prayer, and it solves all his problems.
Yes.
Okay.
That makes them.
They land then at Skinwalker Ranch.
So
let's put up our stuff again.
So we're gonna cut to center.
So we're now back at the Skinwalker Ranch.
Let's get our labels back.
It's been very confusing for everybody
Yes.
pretending. So good to be back home. Oh, and the Mesa. Okay, so
they landed the helicopter pad that's off this direction.
it's over here.
The sheriff, Caleb.
He comes and escorts them out of the helicopter.
Carrying a shotgun that is, it's clearly loaded by not replacing the shells off the...
Right, so... Travis
Kidder
and Tim get out of the helicopter.
And Brandon, you can pretend.
But he goes away.
That's true.
Tom meets them, and
Eric is also
Eric's
out there.
Dragon
Right.
is there too.
Yes, Dragon.
But also, there was a surprise waiting in the boardroom. Well,
we don't have Tickle up.
Tickle is waiting for Tim. ABC dumb agent comes in to help with the investigation and also maybe cross-stream his investigation of the Moonshiners with the investigation of the UAPs and the UFOs, the UMBs.
There's a lot of concern that Dragon hasn't just mad about. We're not sure yet.
We're going to get to that.
So proceeds to show them videos of spotlights shining on the mountains and lights flying overhead.
And Tim and Tickle give a little.
They have a little look because they were out there. They were looking for their side legger out there. If you've seen episode 1, you know they were trying to talk over walkies. Tickle's battery died while he was up there. So Tim.
So they had a good laugh at everybody's expense, but they're like, you know what? We'll just let them follow their lead to us.
Yep.
We got to make the moon shine.
Yep.
So they talk and talk. The lights on the Mesa.
A whole bunch of stories back and forth.
But you don't have to take our word for it. So they all pile into a UTV.
Who goes?
Tom goes, and the ABC agent, and Tickle. Tim's driving. Tim likes to drive. He has a driving thing. Dragon comes along, and then Eric.
Travis jogs out front.
And Caleb says he's going to get back to it.
Yeah, he goes back because what's he doing?
Now, so they all get in the car and they drive to, where do they go, hon?
So what they did,
they go to the Homestead one and they all pile. Well, Travis jogged, so he got there first.
He was out very close.
Eric gets out and tries to saddle up to Travis. Dragon huffs and puffs his way out. Tim and Tickle,
they don't know what the point of all this is.
And the already been chief gum agent and Tom Winterton, they all get out too.
So they're gathered around a processing center.
It's a slaughterhouse.
Where they kill the cows too. So they are be told the story by Dragon and Tom Winterton.
But this time there's no cow there.
There's nothing. This doesn't appear to be.
They're just looking at an empty cage.
Yeah, empty cage. So they tell a story about a guy who a wolf was taking a calf from pulling it through this grate, and the guy had a .357 and shot the wolf 6 times, and they said it didn't make it run. From with Tickle, he said he's shooting at a wolf 6 times from 4 feet away, and he missed every time. I don't think that's weird. A lot of people have bad shots.
But Tim does also think he needs some help.
The guy goes in and he gets a .30-06, but it ran away. It probably was just done.
And then after that story, they climb back into the car.
Yeah.
But the ABC agent, he leaves. The other PhD shows up, and Eric.
We don't know where Tickle went. They don't.
Tim's driving. Travis continues to jog. We're going the wrong direction.
Yeah.
They drive from Homestead 1, triangle through,
up.
And they stop and they park here at the Mesa. Okay, so Travis is already there. He jogs really fast. Tom and Dragon, PhD, and Eric and Tim. They all get out. They bring out their instrumentations.
They start scanning around.
And they scan with their instrumentations. And they conclude that they don't get anything conclusive. So they walk up the Mesa.
Measuring microwaves.
And they again measure with their instrumentations.
Scanning all around. Everyone's scanning.
And there's thunderclouds.
I mean, you can see on the map there's accurately represented.
Accurately portrayed. They continue to measure with their instrumentation.
And so the whole time, this guy keeps looking at the thunderstorm. So we have faith. Tim, he doesn't know what they're doing because up on top of there's where his last corn dead.
Yeah, and he finds in us that he has a real hard time finding the clean water that he wants. But he thinks so.
So
then they
we did miss a part on the way. They were crossing a bridge and they were met by some cranky neighbor, older gentleman with his widow on the back holding a large blocks them as they're trying to cross a bridge.
Real scary.
You know, they work, and if anybody, a Skinwalker,
it was intimidating. I was very nervous. I kind of hid my face and didn't want to look at it, but I also couldn't look away. It was very compelling TV. Okay, so then they all climb back into. This time Travis has had enough, so he says, "I'm driving." And Dragon and Dom and Eric, the other Fud, with them. And Tim goes off to find Tickle. They drive back to the command center where they get out and they go back into the command center.
Back inside.
Going to be real interesting the way that these line up. So there are group.
Yes.
And I don't know. Tim went off to look for Tickle but couldn't find them, so he meets them back. And it's a good thing he does because now we have even. These three sit on one side. These three are on another side. Wait, do I have this wrong? I have this wrong. I'm so sorry. There we are. That's so much better. Okay. So here we have what we call the diggers, and here we have what we call the dummers. These diggers want to dig, and these dummies don't want them to.
So hornet's nest isn't interesting until you poke it. Tim's saying, yeah, how you know if it's going to be a hornet's nest? You don't know how many. And so the other PhD, well, he's trying to be a scientist at this point. So he's saying, yes, we need to agitate the situation. We need to.
And then Dragon starts to huff and puff, and he's
visibly
ready to
crying.
flip the table down.
Well, he's crying by this scene, stomping his feet.
Tom is holding his head, rocking back and forth. He starts to put his thumb into his TV and flaps it away. But he does start to rock back and forth.
Eric gives this look, unblinkingly for about 5 straight. Travis that look, and Tim was staring at him the whole time, wondering how.
And so finally they decide the only way to break this tie and see who gets to poke who, they call Brandon. Brandon is the decider of who pokes who. So they're on the phone with Brandon, and Brandon got very upset. Visibly just like furious. The wind had gone out of him. Said to Eric, "It is time."
Have you shown them the case? Travis gives this expression while looking at the camera.
He's furious. He started to storm off the set, but then he got a call from his lawyer. Couldn't contract. He must stay, so he went back.
Turns out he's owned by.
He calmed down and said, "Fine, let's just effing shoot this." We're gonna have to believe. So he composes himself, and that's where the cliff hangs. We don't.
So what we see, Eric goes into a room that is adjacent where they're sitting, opens a 3-digit code from a 4-digit number pad, and brings out a silver case.
It's like it's the nuclear. And I don't know what that's going to be.
Everybody leans in, and the music is super ominous.
I'm really worried that it's a bomb.
But Tickle has walked in, and he's seen in the background trying to light a nefarious tobacco product in a USB port.
And so that is where they leave us, on the literal edge of our seats.
We have no idea what's going to happen.
We don't know what's going to happen.
We have a silver.
It's really very stressful. Is the word? It's stressful. And I don't like it. And so I think I'm going to have to give this a big thumbs up. Because it's stressful and I don't like it. And so thumbs up, guys. And your opinion on this?
Well, the only one who brought anything to the table was Tim so far. Tickle, but Tim
TNT,
so far.
TNT forever.
So far, Tim is the most intelligent on the show. Nobody else is really near him. So
no.
Just because of the fact that Tim remains objective, I'm gonna have to give it a thumbs up. Down, thumbs down. I misremembered.
No, I misremembered.
Tim, man, you're remaining objective.
So you thumbs down everybody but Tim.
Tim could be on a different show that I could watch without all of these guys except for Tickle.
I give a big thumbs up to everybody except for Tim. Just because.
Well.
So, I guess that's our show for today. I thank you so much for tuning in. I know that you have been anxiously anticipating the show. Apologize for the delays.
And we hope there aren't too many. There are spoilers.
We will be back. We have invested a great deal of time, energy, and money and resources, as you can see. So, all right. This is us signing off.